Hello, I am Tara.
And I'm Jill.
We're from livingonadime.com. We are the authors of the Dining on a Dime Cookbook, 1,200 Ways to Save on Your Grocery Bill, recipes and tips. We have both in here. Cleaning, we have cleaning products, we have gifts in a jar, we have kids recipes, we have substitutions, we have everything. What to keep in your pantry, everything's in here. If you need one cookbook, this is it. Seriously, this is, I mean, truly, this is the one cookbook you need.
This has a lot of stuff that's on Pinterest, of all the recipes you see on Pinterest and that.
We wrote it 20 years ago.
Yeah, 20 years ago. We had Pinterest in a book is basically what it amounts to.
All your homemade seasonings, your homemade slime, all that kind of stuff is in here.
Yeah. Then
Mom is the author of Penny Pinch Mama, 500 Ways I Lived on $500 a Month. Today, we are talking about how to organize your paperwork. And some of you who are our faithful viewers will say, well, you just did a video about that. We did, but it was live and we had major technical issues. So we're recapping just Mom and I today, and we're going to repeat some of the questions that our viewers had asked because they're common questions. Mm-hmm. Hopefully without the technical issues.
Yeah.
We hope this is recording right. Because we really don't want to make it a third time the charm. Paperwork stresses us out.
Yeah.
Stresses people out, and for good reason.
Yeah.
There is so much of it all the time coming in the house.
It's hard to understand. Yeah. It's hard to understand what to keep, what to do, and you're just overwhelmed with it.
Okay, so the first step to dealing with paperwork starts at the mailbox or coming into your house. And how do you do that?
Well, when you pick up the mail and you bring it in the house, you walk straight to the trash can and you start sorting. I know it may take you just a couple of minutes, but really that's all it is. And that's much less time than if you let it stack up all over every place. And so you open the envelopes, you throw the outside envelopes away on everything. If it's junk mail, toss it right in. Separate the catalogs that you're going to keep out or toss the other ones. I even go as far as to rip off, like for the electric bill, I'll tear the bottom portion off and slide it in next to just in the flap of the envelope that I'm going to resend it in. Mm-hmm. And then I divide the portion you're supposed to keep. I keep that separate. So I just even have those two separate piles before I leave the trash can.
Yeah. And then what I do is I take the portion I need to keep and I put it in my to be file.
We'll
to
show them
do that once a month. And
here, this is what I keep sitting right in my on my kitchen counter in a certain spot, and I just have them divided into the different segments that I need. You know, for whatever is personal for me that I need the stuff for, and then you can just set it in there.
And we have more filing stuff because we're a bigger family than Mom does. So what I do is I just put it in my to be filed, and then once a month I go through and file what I need to do. But just one other quick thing.
Even getting it in an upright file helps.
Yes.
You know, to get it under control.
And one other thing for everyone says, oh, but I have all these stuff for the taxes. We're going to get a little bit more into that. But this is our Living on a Dime receipts right here.
For a business.
For our whole corporation for the year. This is Mike has a few more set that he's already put in the tax box. But we keep a file folder. You can keep a box, whatever you want. All of our tax stuff just goes in there. And then I just sort it in January when I need to sort it. So I'm getting ready to do that on this. And I just go through and sort it because this really isn't that much. I can have this done in 30 minutes
And here's one more little tip. I know this is dumb, but you know your mother. You see how these are folded? I always make sure mine are flattened and opened up like this. Because then you have less thickness, and it
but
gets
I didn't
hurt.
put those in there.
Yeah,
that's what I do. But
so you know that's these little things really help visually to keep things under control.
I didn't put this in here, but never fold it so you can't see
what it is.
I always open it up.
That's another reason to have it opened up because then you can just look much more quickly.
And when I
put
put stuff in, it's going the same direction.
Yes.
So I can just flip what I'm looking for.
No matter what it is, put it flat and put it so you can see it.
Yeah.
And so never lay horizontal. Lay the stuff down horizontally. Yeah. Keep it in an upright. And even if you can just, like I said, get it in the folders, then you can, in the evening, watching TV, you can sit and sort through, pick up one folder and sort it out, straighten it out, and that type of thing.
You can tell that I'm so dusty. And
keep it handy. Now, when you're first doing this, I wanted to give this example. When I say stand by the trash can, most people, you all probably have that counter, that tabletop that's piled high with all this stuff that's overwhelming you. Okay, once you sort of get that cleared off and you do the mail, on that one spot, it may be on the kitchen table that you want to use, and you say, well, I want to use that, clear it off and use it. But for 2 weeks, on that one spot where you had that huge pile, you put your little folder file thing and you keep a trash can. Even if it's in the way, you keep a trash can. So what you're doing when you bring that mail in, you're putting it in the trash and you're putting it in the file folder. You're learning a new habit. But since you do it on that spot, automatically keep it there awkwardly, even if it's awkward, for 2 weeks. Once you get the system down of trashing and putting it in the file folder, then you can take the whole filing system and the trash and move it to a more convenient, a better spot that you want it in. Then you'll be learning the next habit, and that is to walk over to the new. You're not doing 2 different things at a time, because even something that small can overwhelm you and stop you from doing it.
Yeah. So then, what do you do with bills when they come in?
Well, what I do is, first of all, try to get rid of as many bills as you can. That goes with getting out of debt. People don't understand when I talk about there's no stress and when you don't have debt, there is just almost no stress. I have 4 bills and credit card stuff, total bills coming in for everything. I only have to deal with 4 little bills. Do you know how much that relieves the stress in my life than sorting through all the paperwork and doing all this stuff? And what I do, as soon as I get, like I said, I put the bill, tear it apart, and put it in the folder. I take this section with the bill and the envelope, and I have a spot on my kitchen table that I have a napkin holder, and I set it either right in front or right in the napkin holder. By that same little napkin holder, I keep, because that's convenient for me. You can do it at your desk or another counter spot or whatever, and I can see it too, because I want to be able to see it so I don't forget it. But I have stamps, address labels, my checkbook, and pen right there. So I'll set that bill right there, and maybe that evening later or the next morning after breakfast, I'll just write that bill out, everything's right there, I slip it in, and it's ready to go in the mail. So I really don't have a lot there to deal with. But you can do different ways. You can find a spot that you will see it. I've had some people that will clip it to something, so they'll be able to see it, that type of thing. You can just do a lot of different, whatever works for you.
Well, and then my grandmother was getting the mail for the neighbors when they were gone for 1 week. I about died. I am not exaggerating. She had a stack.
Oh, yeah.
This high of magazines, food magazines, clothes just catalogs. Get off those lists. It will take you 30 minutes.
The first thing is to stop mail coming in.
If they have a return envelope in there, put your address label in there. Say stop sending, don't send, whatever. Put it in there and ship it back to them and get off those lists.
Yeah, stop doing it. Because a gal hired me. I was a receptionist at the airport, but she said, I'm really hiring you mostly to go through my catalogs. And like Tara said, every day I had to sort through these catalogs that she wanted me to. She was paying me to do this, It was insane. That type of behavior is insane. You can't do that.
You cannot sustain that and keep your sanity. You just can't.
It's not fair to you or your family.
Now, one lady, I can't remember who it was, I think it was Teresa, said, what do I do with all my medical papers? I have a special needs son and I have all these medical papers. What do I do with them?
Well, it's no different than anything else. We've got this file folder system here. What she could do is maybe have it like whatever works for her. She can divide it up for the different doctors or the different hospitals. She maybe needs another folder to put for prescriptions or what medicines he's taking. You get a system and put in these files, and then when she gets the bill or comes home from the doctor, all what she has to do is say, we went to this doctor, and she just drops it into that file folder. You can use them for stuff you're finished with, but I don't like a whole lot of big file drawers, and and stuff like that. I need to be able to have mine open where I can see it and I can just drop it in, because if you have to pull that drawer open, mentally people do not do that very often.
So that's why I have this first line of defense for me.
Yeah.
And then Mike and I have, because we have a corporation, so we do have to keep a lot of things. And we have a big file cabinet. And then I go through.
After you sort that, then you put that in the file cabinet.
Put it in the file cabinet permanent when I don't need it. And I do try to go through my file cabinet at least once a year and dump everything I don't need. And I just sit while I'm watching TV with the trash can right there, have a folder, and just dump as I'm watching TV. That's all I do.
Yeah.
It doesn't take me really that long. It takes me 10 minutes to do it.
Divide it down into small little chunks and do it that way.
Yeah.
And I don't have the business now, so I just have a small little file box is all.
And we have, like for us, we have a health insurance folder. We have a car insurance, car repairs folder.
Mm-hmm.
We have house
in general.
So
house
like
repair,
insurance,
mortgage information.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. I have a medical folder. We have a kid's school papers that we have to keep permanently. But honestly, I dump all the report cards and stuff now. I'm like, why are we keeping this?
Yeah.
I don't keep any of it. And
I have a miscellaneous file.
I do have a miscellaneous
that really
file.
helps me. Most everything goes in the. I'm like Tara. I have like a first and second defense type thing that you do, and everything goes in the miscellaneous file. And then like once a month or every 3 months, I'll sort through the miscellaneous and put it in the different files.
What's in the miscellaneous file? I have my dog rabies things.
Mm-hmm.
I have it's hard to like if I know that something crazy, like
if I have a unusual product that I'm not sure that I need the address for or something,
I'm trying to think. Like our social security cards, our birth certificates, are things like that I don't really need a file for just birth certificates or social security cards. So I just keep that in my miscellaneous.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to worry about
just keep the, if you need to start out with just a main one, but then divide them up like Tara has, personal receipts to do and that type of thing. Divide those file folders for whatever piles you have.
School papers. Dump them, folks. Dump them.
Okay, we're not talking just about school papers. We're talking about everything. We just did a video on Michael. He got rid of bags and a whole trash can. He said, he'd taken pictures all these years of all of his vacations, and they don't mean a whole, they don't. Why is he keeping 25 pictures of all these different things of just one little trip or something? And you have to be ruthless. And that's one thing. When you go in, when you start doing this, I'm kind of getting off subject, I guess.
Okay, well, say what you're finishing, and we need to go back to school papers.
But the school papers, why are you keeping any school papers really for the kids?
So what I do is I have a little place on my counter. So if there's something coming up, I will write it on the calendar, and I'll either pin or tape it to my calendar, the information that I need, or paper clip it on the back of my calendar. Like if it's what information on a field trip, I guess. I immediately fill out the field trip paper and put it back in their backpack. I don't wait. I fill it out, put it back in there. If I need the date, then I add it to the calendar, and then I put either paper clip it on the back of the calendar or I pin it on my calendar. And I have a pretty cool pinning system on my calendar. I'm going to have to show you guys. And then it goes straight back in. All of their homework and all this stuff,
no.
You don't need to keep it. You don't need to keep it. My niece came to live with us, and when she did, she had, I think it was 6 or 8 totes that were like this big. Her parents had kept every single paper she had ever brought home. And my niece was like, I don't even want to look through this. She said, just dump it all. So we I needed the totes to put her stuff in. So we dumped all the papers out in bags, kept the totes. She could care less. We could care less.
I wonder sometimes, too, if that's not parents thinking, this is my way of showing love to my kids or something. No. I don't know. I've never been able to figure out the logic of it.
If you're a homeschooler, one reader did say, you may want to keep 1 year's worth of your schoolwork in binders to prove you are actually homeschooling.
Yeah,
if
that's
you
a
need
different
to do that.
type of thing.
That is fine, but when the year is over,
get rid
dump
of it.
last year's stuff and move on.
Yeah.
And so with schoolwork, I don't keep hardly any of it.
No, and with their artwork, the stuff that they bring home from school, you can hang like a handful of the recent pictures on the refrigerator, a place like that. You can go in their bedroom and put a cord of some sort of string or a little rope with clothespins and designate a certain spot and hang their artwork along there and use that as decoration in their room. And then they're responsible for going in when they get if the thing's full, then they get to choose which one they want to take off, and they hang another one on, so you're not the one being the big heavy here to do that. And you can keep a couple. I mean, I maybe kept 2 to 3 pictures the whole school year of you guys, but you know what happened a few years later? It's like I had this small little stack, and I'm thinking, you didn't even know you'd done them.
I still love you, Mom.
And I got rid of a good portion of them. Then I asked Tara if she wanted them, and she's looking at me like, why would I want these, And so I got rid of them. It's just insane.
It's ridiculous. Something just came in my head, and I thought we need to talk about that. Let's see, what was it? We were talking about school. Oh, what do you do with pictures of your ex-husband? Or ex-family members when you don't want to keep those pictures anymore, but you have kids. So what do you do with those?
Well, of course, it depends on the kids' ages. I would get them down to, first of all, I would keep just a small amount.
Yes, and put it in
a box or a container.
If the kids want pictures,
and then when they turn 18, if they want, or whenever they ask for them, then you can just give them the box and let them do whatever they want.
Don't sit there and rip out your ex-husband's picture, guys. That is grow up. You are the adult here. Even if your ex is being a dork, you need to be the adult. Or if
you're mad at your parents or your siblings.
Don't just sit there. You don't have to keep it. But you don't need to be mean and nasty in front of your children doing this.
Well, I think you or David said something about it hurt you when Dad left us and Grandma Cooper had taken all of our wedding pictures and all of our family, pictures with Dad in it. They'd taken our wedding stuff and put them away, and it made you said it was like I didn't exist.
We're still here, and that's fine if you don't want to keep the wedding picture, but it hurts your kids if they have pictures with their dad. If it really bothers you that much, let them keep it in their room.
Have a picture in their room or something like that.
Something like that. But don't be rude. So, okay, let's see. Lisa said, I need help getting rid of all my papers and supplies in my classroom. I always think I might need them and don't want to purchase them again.
I assume a teacher? Is that what you're thinking?
Homeschooling, probably. But
well, first of all, you got to logically think out, okay, I'm just using examples. Let's say you use 2 black markers a semester. Okay, why do you have 20 or 30 black markers? If you calculate that out, you've got enough black markers for like 20 years. They'll dry out before you can use them. So take those things and logically think, okay, will I actually use all this stuff up in the amount of time that I usually use them? And, if you're really stressed out and having trouble with storage space and that, you may have to just get rid of it and think, if I have to rebuy it,
just suck it up and buy it
sell
again.
it at a garage sale and save that money back. It's easier to save a little pile of money and store that than to all this stuff. And then if you find you did need something that you sold and got rid of, then use that money to buy.
And if you think, well, I'm just going to spend that money on something else, we'll put it in a little baggie and put it in your drawer with your supplies. And then when you need something, the money is right there and you can go buy it.
Take it out and go do it.
So April says, whenever I find a recipe in the magazine, I snap a picture of it and put it on my hard drives. Then I don't have tons of magazines all over the place. She said what she does is she puts them into lots of categories like work, school, home, recipes, organizations, that kind of thing. Now, that's a good idea, and you can do that. And the same with online bill paying, although Mike and I have done online bill paying, and they're still sending us the bills, so it hasn't stopped anything. But you need to be careful when storing stuff like on your phone and hard drives and stuff too, because you're just going to end up with the same mess before.
Yeah, you've got another just
Don't
totally different mess.
cut out any new recipes until you have gone through the ones that you have and made them. If you're just collecting recipes just to collect them, and you're not writing a cookbook, then it's not going to do you any good to just have them sitting there if you're not going to use them.
And you know, I've done this for years. I've collected recipes, and I am a cookbook author. You know, we use them on the website. But even on mine, I have recipes from 1970, believe it or not, that I didn't even realize I still had this whole file folder full of these recipes. That shows, you know, usually, unless I really, really want it, I can go online and find it, you know, instead have a little notebook where you write down the name of the recipe or an idea about it. But, you know, just try to control it. At least don't save the magazine, whatever you do.
And Patricia says, where can I recycle magazines? Doctor's offices, maybe. I don't know about doctor's offices. Everybody says that, but I don't think they really are a good place. Senior centers, hospitals, though, might use them for kids and adults. Also, adults for reading, but kids for crafts and stuff like that.
But you can send them to your favorite thrift store, too, they can sell them, and then that way they'll make money on them and stuff like that.
And swap with your neighbors. My neighbor and I, we swap back and forth our magazines and stuff all the time. Mom and I, we get these little 10-cent, 25-cent books at the thrift store and garage sales, and we'll swap our books back and forth.
My book gets passed on, books and magazines get passed on a whole bunch. So
and Melissa wants to say, my problem is what papers to keep. Do I keep all my grocery receipts? What do I keep all my bills? How many of those things do I keep?
Well, first of all, if you're worried about taxes and stuff, call the IRS.
Or your accountant.
If you have an accountant, that's better. But I would call more than one person. I would call 2 or 3. I called the IRS like 2 to 3 times, different people, because different people said different things. If you don't want to even do that, Google it. Go online and say, what do I have to keep for my personal taxes? Or for my business, or something like that. You can Google that and read 2 or 3 of the articles of what the list that they give you. There's very simple, easy list to give you what you keep. Most of the time, it's way less than what you think. It's way less. People keep all their electric and their gas and their water receipts and even their credit card receipts. You don't need to keep any of those things, really. Another thing is, you've got to realize, I would call, I called my bank the other day because I have all my bank statements from a million years back, and I said, do I need to keep these? And they said, well, we have them. If you need a bank statement, just give us a call, and we've got record of that, you know. So you can really cut out on a good portion of what you need to save. There's very, very few stuff that you need, especially for personal taxes. You don't need to save near as much as what you think. As far as receipts go, I just have a receipts folder like Tara does too. And I'll just throw everything in there, and then every once a month or every 2 months, I will go through, if it's grocery receipts, and I don't have any big ticket, we've eaten all the groceries, so I just toss them. If it's Walmart stuff, even the smaller, if I have toothpaste and stuff like that on my Walmart receipt, and that's all that's on there, I'll toss that. Normally, I don't save a receipt after about 6 months, even 3 months probably, if it's anything under $5, you know, unless it's got something on there that's more than $5 to $10, I don't save those.
So I save them for the shop vac if I buy it, or the vacuum cleaner, and things like that.
Clothing,
shoes, clothes. And one tip that I've started doing is, if I have any inclination at all that I might need to return something, so like it was just Christmas. The shop vac that I bought Mike for Christmas, I'm sorry, dear, what a cruddy present, but the jeans I bought, the clothes I bought, I put those at the front of the checkout line, so that when I go to look on that receipt, I am not looking through a receipt this long trying to find all this stuff. So I put all that stuff at the very top of my receipt, and I said, please put this first on this receipt. So I'm not scanning through all this crap. So I'm not scanning through the cream cheese and the spinach and all that stuff to find the shop vac. And
Well, some people keep, if they go to Taco Bell for lunch, they'll keep the receipt. And
yeah.
it's not for business purposes.
And another thing, one lady said that she was charged $119 instead of $19 for her gas. So she doesn't throw any of those away. And that's fine. So what we would do in that situation is I would have one file folder. I would put the new receipts at the back, and I would dump once a month the old receipts after I have checked my bank statement. If that's too much for you, have this month's, last month's. When you've done with done with last month's bank statement, just chuck the whole thing. Then this becomes this month's. Just keep rotating. You could do that. Just find a system that works for
anything in upright files, and you can divide it down as much as you want. You know, like I wouldn't need near as many folders as Tara's because mine would be very, very thin as far as receipts and stuff goes, where she might need a little bit more. You know, it depends on the size of your family and how much you've got. So,
okay, let's see. I think, have we hit it all? Yeah, and Tasha says I just keep a container for everything for my taxes. Yes, that's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, just throw everything into one thing. If you have multiple, like one lady said, well, I don't know what to do. I have a rental house. I'm starting another business. I have my work stuff. Just keep a separate folder or box for each of those. And also on your personal work W-2 forms, you get a W-2 at, wage forms, I guess. You get a W-2 at the beginning of each year. You don't need to keep the previous year's wages. You don't need to keep track of that if you get your W-2. You don't need that for anything. So just dump those as soon as the year is done if you don't need it for anything. So, did we catch it all?
I think so.
All right. So, you can get more tips and recipes on getting organized. Oh, did you want to talk about this?
I don't know. Did you want to or not?
Okay.
Want to do something?
So when you're getting your tax, sorry.
Well, not even just with,
For any organizing.
If you got that tabletop or that desk or that, area that's just piled with stuff, how to start doing to get rid of that is, I use 4 different, first of all, when you start doing it, you do this quickly. You don't pick up that picture that you went on vacation 30 years ago and you go down memory lane and you think about all the fun stuff and you think, oh, I remember do this, do that. No, you look at that picture and
is there a person in here I love? Is this something that I just truly, truly love that I don't have 15 other copies of?
Yeah. Do I really want to keep it? And then put it in one of these piles that I'm going to tell you. Or, you do this quickly. This is not the time to think. If you're just on the border, or you're tossing thing, I don't know if I should, then throw that in a miscellaneous section.
Throw that in, I'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
And think about
Sort through these piles quickly. This goes in the office. This is my personal memories. This goes with, go quickly when you do this. You want to just get it done. You don't think about it. That's why when Tara said in the folder, she has everything facing out because that makes it go much more quickly. You want to sort through this very fast. Then you have 4 different piles. You got your tabletop full. Where do I start? Okay, you can either put it in a box and throw these in a box then. I would personally throw them in a box, something like that, because then you can take later on while you're watching TV and sort through each box individually. But have your boxes set up. You either trash them or
the trash
shred.
needs to be a trash can with the bag in it so you can just pull it out and take it to the curb.
You can trash. You can, if you think you can do it fast enough, shred at the same time.
But if not, make a box for shredding and do that later.
Yeah, so you got your trash, you got your things that need to be filed, bills, and correspondence. And so you just kind of put these in these categories. The file stuff you'll put in the boxes because then later on you can sit with the file folders and sort through and put them then in individual piles. But you use these categories to get that table cleared off really quick and do it like that.
Bills, get all your bills that you need to pay. Get those. If you
separated.
have bill from this doctor's office, and then you have 4 late reminder notices, you don't need to keep the first one.
No.
If you're paying your late
just
one.
Get the very latest one and toss
do the latest,
rest.
most recent.
Yeah, just think things through like this. I don't need to keep like 25 of these from this same doctor. And correspondence, that goes in a completely separate box for you to sort through. Do I need to write an email, make a call, do a letter, that type of thing. So,
and that's how you get it sorted.
Yeah, it's
Guys,
really,
this isn't rocket science.
No, you got to keep it simple.
The biggest problem is you're not doing it regularly.
Stay on top of it. That's the number
week,
one. Keep it
every
from
month.
coming in the house and stay on top of it. Every day you do your, and you'll think, well, I don't have time. But you're looking at the overwhelming thing. When you get this sorted out, it'll maybe take you 5 or 10 minutes each day to deal with paperwork.
So if you have your table piled, start today getting the mail and trashing what you don't need. You're not adding to the pile.
Don't add to the pile.
Then spend 5 or 10 minutes dealing with the pile.
Doing a little section. If you can only do a little.
You'll eventually get there.
Yeah.
So, all right, you can get these tips and more on our website at livingonadime.com and in our Keeping It Clean ebook series, which we have how to get organized and all about laundry and our homemade cleaners. Those are in the description below. And Mom's book, Penny Pinch and Mama, 500 Ways I Lived on $500 a Month. And our Dining on a Dime cookbook, 1,200 recipes and tips.
And this talks about organizing your pantry, too.
Yes.
And stuff, how to get, things organized.
Yeah, we got everything in here. So, have a good day, and we will see you later on our next episode.
Bye-bye.